Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is today, January 24th, and tomorrow, if I do this correctly, will be my first video of 2018 that happened on New Year's Eve. So acknowledge this is like 3 weeks late, but better than never.
Life short, smoke a port, on a port, in New York, calculating like a dork. Kill Bill, track supreme shorts.
It is New Year's Eve day. Had a great week celebrating Christmas, doing the family thing. Didn't record anything. Trying to enjoy the time down. Gonna celebrate bringing in the new year. I've got a new hobby.
In New York, calculating like a dork. Kill Bill, track supreme shorts.
So I'm smoking. I've always loved smoked meat. This last year I wanted to do something special for Thanksgiving. We hosted at our house for our families, and so I wanted to try smoked meat and get a smoker and do some pork butt, Boston pork butt, pork shoulder. So I got this little guy. This is a little 16-inch Weber Smoky Mountain smoker. It's pretty simple and basic. You have this bottom canister where the coals go in. You have this access port with the bottom grill and humidifier pan in there. And then a top rack here. I think this is the 5th smoke I've done. I did 2 before Thanksgiving, all pork butt. Did 1 for Christmas. 1 for Christmas up in Big Bear with my family. Did ribs up there, and doing another pork butt for a New Year's Eve day brunch. So excited to see how this one comes out.
Kill Bill, track supreme shorts.
So in addition to my smoker, one of my new favorite toys is this Weber iGrill probe. So one of the things with smoking meats is it takes a long time. It's low and slow, that's the whole point. And it's usually about 1 hour to 2 hours per pound of meat. So this is a 5-pound pork butt. So it will take 7 to 10 hours depending on the temperature. As you can tell, watching the meat and looking at the temperature is kind of cumbersome. But this is a Bluetooth enabled probe. So this is pretty nerdy and domestic daddy. But essentially, plug in the probe when you start your grill, turn this thing on and hit find devices, pair with your device, boom, continue, start grilling. We're doing pork and Boston pork butt. We want to be done at 190, set doneness, start, boom. But honestly, using this app from a product design standpoint, the UI design is actually really well done. It's pretty useful. You can have an overall view of your cook over the hours that you're cooking. A little app review of dad pork butt domestic stuff.
Life short, what it's worth, it's worth. Life short, smoke a port on a port. In New York, calculating like a dork, bitch.
Did a quick wardrobe change, getting ready for dinner. Checking the pork butt, see how we're doing. Temperature is still good, right at 150. Yeah. Just what I'm looking for. Officially 6 hours in now to the smoke. 126, it needs to get to 190. They call this like a temperature stall. It happens when your meat gets to a certain temperature. Gonna go to dinner, come back, hopefully throw some more chips on the charcoal, round out the last couple hours of the smoke. Also, don't think I mentioned what I'm actually cooking. Cooking a Boston pork butt with a bourbon rosemary sauce. We have a brunch tomorrow. My wife's making her famous Southern biscuits and gravy, and so we're adding a twist to it this year with a little bit of pulled pork for our New Year's Day brunch. Sushi time.
Kill Bill, track supreme shorts.
Yeah. This is what a domestic mom and dad New Year's Eve looks like.
Kids on the couch, kids on Wii.
It's midnight in New York City. We just got back from dinner. I'm about to mop my butt. I just made my bourbon rosemary mop. Gonna go mop the butt and stay up for 3 more hours with these schmucks. Say Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You won't suck up my energy, chef. Boy, D bitch, you're whipping the sauce, you see.
So it's just about midnight East Coast time, 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. Celebrated New Year's Eve with the little kiddos. About 6 or 7 hours in on the smoke. I'm gonna now apply my bourbon rosemary mop to the meat and finish out the last 3 or 4 hours of the smoke. Hopefully finish it before midnight.
Bullshit, you talking that jealousy. Ice cubes on a nigga neck like, is we there yet? Man, turn your guts to macaroni wet. Hey, good pussy sound like macaroni best wet. Never let another nigga try your set. Wanna be the best, don't hold your breath. Looking at my garments and they strike like net. Okay.
So there's a very specific reason why I decided to document a very uneventful thing like smoking a pork butt. Over the last couple months of last year, I needed a hobby, I guess. We host Thanksgiving, like I said, and so I wanted to contribute and make a meat dish. So I did a pork butt test smoke for our Friendsgiving. I did one. I also won Best Dish. I did a smoke for our actual Thanksgiving that we hosted. I did one for my wife's Christmas. I did one for my parents' Christmas. And I did one for New Year's Eve. And the intent was for me just to experiment with some recipes, play, eat good food, duh. This is not because I'm trying to become some YouTube pitmaster and talk about recipes. How much I've enjoyed doing something analog and non-digital as like a digital nomad and as a creator that makes software and lives behind a computer most of my time. In talks in the past, I've had a slide that says like, get a hobby, kid. And I think that this notion of having a hobby, having identity and things that you enjoy and do outside of design and not solely focusing on design as a thing that identifies you and as a thing that like you fully focus and exist as. Like it's very easy on social media for us to be like, oh, I'm a designer, I'm a prototyper, I'm a web developer. It's very easy for us to like identify something from a career standpoint. But from a human standpoint, I think there's so much more that's important outside of what we do to make money. This is the vlog, honestly, was one thing that I started to do something that wasn't making software, even though this is digital. This is storytelling, this is motion, this is music, this is documentation and family and experience. And so this was a thing that I started, I don't know, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And something as simple as like buying a smoker / barbecue and learning to cook different types of meals for me has been not only something that is like enjoyable for me and for other people because we're eating delicious meat. It's been a way for me to be, it's almost a hack of being productive. I think there's a lie and a tendency to work more and harder. I'm not saying we shouldn't work hard. I struggle with this idea of scarcity of time. If I wake up early, I'm like, oh, I can get into the office earlier. And I don't always think more time is the solution. I think clarity and focus and efficiency is the solution. And having a hobby, especially one that's analog, that gets me off my computer, not thinking about user experience, not thinking about all these other things that were related to work, helps me come back to work with a fresh mind, with kind of like a renewed spirit almost, in a way that I feel more human, specifically for people designing software and products. If we talk about user experience and empathy, being able to be normal and hang out with normal people that aren't designers or in tech, I think makes us more aware and makes us better designers because we understand being not designer. If that makes any sense. So the more that you can take yourself out of the context of Silicon Valley or out of the context of your work or design and do other things with other normal people, I think the better designer you are. I think the designers I look up to most in my life and my mentors aren't typical designers. They came from a different background. My friend Ted, who is a dear friend and was an early mentor of mine, came from like music DJing and working in restaurants and has worked for Apple and Nest and in Instagram and is a huge, but his point of view, his taste, the things he's excited about isn't just design, nor is it with just designers. And so, long story short, get a hobby, kid. Find something that you enjoy doing that is potentially even creative, but not in the context of like software and design, what you do for your job. I think it makes you a better designer, a better creator. I think it makes you a better human. And I've been enjoying it through pork butt. Another big goal, not huge into New Year's resolutions, but since this is the first video of 2018, I have an ambition and a goal to go outside more, as vague and simple as that is. I grew up camping and backpacking, snowboarding, skateboarding, all the things outside. Never been a competitive sports person, but love the outdoors. My goal this year is to go outside more, whatever that looks like, even if it's just going to the beach, which is very easy for me living in Orange County, or taking, you know, my boys to the mountains to go camping for the weekend. That is my larger goal in this tone of hobbies and doing other things than design. I'm still trying to figure out how to not be worried about scarcity and time and not getting enough done. I'm only recording this video and finishing it 3 weeks later because I'm in San Francisco for a work trip, not with my family, and so I have some margin to do selfish things like make a YouTube video. I'm still figuring that part out of how to remain sane and not freak out about deadlines and getting things done. But having a hobby has been a nice distraction that I think is beneficial for my career and mindset as a designer. Long story short, I feel like I'm in a place now where I've kind of resolved some issues that I dealt with last year, and resolving those issues and looking at like this next year and what it holds, I'm just generally happy and optimistic. So yeah, excited for this year, and thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting. I appreciate it. Small note, I created a new Instagram account called Jacuzzi Joel. It's my alternate persona, my schizophrenic alternate. It's a joke account. It's me in jacuzzis as I travel. It's one of my favorite things in the world. But yeah, I'm gonna go hit the sauna, get to bed, and see you all soon.
Kill, tracksuit, green shorts, life short, worth, risk, work.